welcome to the Seamaster Qatar 2016 ITTF World Tour Grand Finals. Welcome to Doha. It is women's singles round of 16. Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome from Germany the number 11 seed, world ranked number 8, Ying. Please welcome from Japan, the number 60, world ranked number 9, Mima.
Very warm welcome to the Seamaster Qatar 2016 ITTF World Tour Grand Finals. Doha staging this 21st edition in the state-of-the-art venue, Ali bin Hamad Al Attiyah Arena, the world's most prestigious and moneyed event this year. Men's and women's singles winners trousering a check for $60,000 on Sunday, as well as all the adulation and world ranking points too. Today is day 2. We're bringing you 2 televised sessions, all round of 16, women's and men's singles, and then quarterfinals action in our evening session, starting approximately 5:30 p.m. local time. 8 matches in all on today's rich and varied order of play. Our first feature match on table 1 is a women's round of 16 clash between 2 competitors at different stages of their careers. A mouth-watering top 10 clash. Will it live up to its billing? Han Ying, 33 years old, the 11th seed, world ranked number 8 from Germany. She's up against Mima of Japan, world ranked 9th, and 6th seed. Coach and player, respectively. I'm Paul Hand, and beside me, delighted to have Johnny Cowan. Welcome, Johnny.
Thanks, Paul. Masal Khair, Mahada, welcome. As Paul was saying, here to the Ali bin Hamad Al Attiyah Arena here in Doha, Qatar. Day 2, the action certainly warming up. We had a couple of shocks yesterday. Let's see what day 2 brings for us through the proceedings. Lots of action today. Kicking off here at 1 p.m. local time, Han Ying of Germany, world number 8, against Mima of Japan, world number 9. Just taking last instructions here from coaches, and then we'll have the standard 2-minute warm-up. Will be fascinating to see how the youngster from Japan there takes on the more experienced and defensive player, Han Ying, Paul. So it will be an interesting encounter just to see how the 2 styles and the 2, as you say, 2 players at different stages in their career react to this situation here at the Grand Finals.
Absolutely, Johnny. 16 years old, just under half the age of Han Ying. She'd hate me for saying that, wouldn't she? But yeah, a young teenage sensation from Japan. It's going to be interesting because she's been struggling against defenders of late. She arrived from Cape Town, the young Japanese player in South Africa, World Junior Championship. She lost to a couple of choppers recently, won in that Junior World Championships, a Korean defender in the 2nd round, and the World Team Championship lost first match to DPR Korean defender too. So she doesn't like playing defenders, but she's a pedigree player, the player on the left. 2016 Olympic team bronze. She's the Austrian Open champion of this year, and highly decorated. She also in 2014 won the World Tour Grand Finals women's doubles champion in Bangkok with Miyu Hirano, another of the plentiful Japanese contingents here. We'll be seeing her in action up next against the 40 from Tianwei. Han Ying, well, she's 33 years old, 3rd appearance here. She was champion in the 2016 career highlights, I should say, 2016 Olympic gold team silver medalist. She led the team to their first ever Olympic final alongside her compatriot, Joanna Shan, teammate. She's ranked world 22nd, the 13th seed. She's in action later today. And Han Ying, what a proposition this is. She'll have to play well to get past Mima. They've met once before, last year in the German Open. Mima just wriggled through that encounter. 4-3 was the score in the round of 32. And with that result, she leapt into the top 10, did Mima. with also a win in the tournament over Chung Mong as well. So at this one, the last match having been so close, should be a really tight encounter, Johnny.
Yeah, and of course the players just checking each other's rackets there before we start. Always a standard part of the process in any match where you have a player with pimples. And of course we see it up and down countries in club matches. Players just inspecting each other's bats. Just to understand the pimples there, you see Mima with the backhand on the pimples. Changes the spin of the ball. There are long pimples, short pimples. So yeah, two players just checking out what the opposition has, and that'll have an impact on how they play the game, what shots they play, how much spin they impart on the ball. But yeah, shall be interesting. I mean, obviously, as you say, Paul, Mima, she's still very young, hugely experienced even at 16, having played in the World Tour, of course, but when you're playing against defence, it's a different style, it's a different game, it's a different tempo. And it takes kind of years to gain that experience to really understand how your style and your personality actually copes with playing against defence.
It's going to be interesting, that's for sure. So players just readying themselves. That's just about to get underway then.
Winner, of course, Paul, to play Ding Ning in the quarter-final right at the very top of the draw. So interesting to see how this unfolds.
Han Ying to get this women's singles round of 16 clash underway. Johnny, one of the talking points, you know, the young player here in picture, hasn't got devastating power, likes to feed off oncoming pace a little. Interesting to see whether she can generate just a little more to get the upper hand in the points against the German defender.
Yeah, absolutely. You know, typical Japanese style for the women's game is to stay up nice and close and be really sharp and short technique, actually, really fast against attacking players, incredible stuff. And the dynamic of a defender as an opponent just adds that little bit of difference. There, that's typical from Mima. See how she creates the spin. She's looking for the flat hit really, really quickly. Much different to different countries how they play against defence. So she'll want to capitalise like that. Missed the very first point, but that's good for her confidence to have made that one. But as you say, not massively powerful. Again, only 16 years of age. The technique and the style plays into that somewhat. But you can impart the spin, the position, lots of other tactics that you can deploy against defenders other than power.
She's very quick, takes the ball early, reflexive brilliance there, just quick to pounce, likes to stay tight to the table. But she will be asked a number of tough questions today. Han Ying, a player of vast experience, over twice her age.
Good change from the defender, just to mix it up there, went for the forehand attack. Really important for defenders, I think, these days in the modern game to continue to mix it up. I think attackers will become comfortable if the defender plays similar style, defending all of the time. There's another change mid-rally from Han Ying.
No big upsets in the women's draw yesterday. All fairly plain sailing for Ding Ning and Zhu Yuling. Kazumi Ishikawa came through 4-3 in her match up against Hyewan. Tayana as well, beating Ishigaki of Japan. We were saying yesterday, Johnny, so important for the modern defender in Han Ying to be able to sort of hit back quickly and, you know, get onto the attack as soon as that ball drops short, and sort of about moving up and back from the table with warp-like speed.
Yeah, the top defenders in the world in both the women's and men's game can mix it up, keeps the attackers on their toes. They're not quite sure what's coming back to them, whether it's going to be ongoing defensive shots or indeed if they're going to mix it up with some spins and some counter hits themselves. construct that point really well, Mima Ito. Played some short balls there. See how the ball bounced there. The amount of spin in the ball coming back between these two players, incredible.
You'd imagine the young Japanese player would need to take a leaf out of Li Xiaozhe's book because she's so good against defenders. She has that raw, bone-crushing power that can just crunch through them. But you'd imagine that would improve with Mima Ito's physical maturing. Only 16 years old, remember.
Bad choice there. That ball was fizzing with spin from Han Ying. It was the wrong one to go for the flat-out winner from Mima Ito. But I'm quite impressed the way she's playing here. She's mixing up, Mima Ito, the spins. Seems to be a little bit of a tactic. She seems to be going for a fast one down the middle or a spinny one down the middle, and then the fast attack out the Han Ying forehand.
So down the middle, presumably what, to render no angle to the chopper, right?
Absolutely, and maybe ask some questions of Han Ying, whether she plays the forehand or the backhand. Maybe she doesn't impart as much pressure when it's from the middle of the table, allowing Mima Ito the choice of attack or spin. A little bit dictation, if you like.
Well, you can see she's patiently trying to build the point and engineer a sort of upper hand, but of course it's all about tempered aggression. Got to minimize those unforced errors. So deadlock in this one. 8 apiece. All to play for this opening game. And a pivotal game given how close their last head-to-head showing was in March of last year at the German Open.
Oh, that's a super rally. Nice patience from Mima Ito there. She's playing a great variation of spins, then she starts to hit the flat one.
That was an assured dispatch, wasn't it? Bullying that away.
Close opening first game here in this last 16 match.
Again, going for the body of Han Ying. Ito there. Two game points. A beautifully engineered finish from the Japanese teenage sensation. She wriggles through the opening game, 11 points to 8. Don't go anywhere, back after the break. Coming back to the table then, Mima Ito, quarter of the way home, vying for a berth in this year's quarterfinals of the World Tour Grand Finals here in Doha.
Good first game there from Mima Ito. Impressive. We talked before the game about potentially the lack of power as she matures through her teenage years, but I was impressed there with the way she mixed the spin and the power to take the first game there.
Yeah, she had some well-weighted drop shots, didn't she, just to sort of bring Han Ying in and out of the table. Thunderous finish.
She's found found a groove here, Paul. Look how early she's taking the forehand topspin. She's putting the pressure onto Han Ying, and she's making really good decisions in terms of the ball to hit flat through. Good stuff from Mima Ito.
And you can see as well from this young player, she's smart. She's trying to spread the table well. She's playing off, inside, out forehands and regular angled forehands, really trying to just jerk her defensive opponent around.
Super play again. You see the topspin slow and spinny to the middle, just then creates the opportunity for the winner. Tactic coming through again here.
Now that's the kind of error that Han Ying presumably, Johnny, is preying on, right? Just trying to tease out that exactly that kind of unforced.
It's an interesting change from a defender's point of view. In that moment you go from defender to retriever. That shot there that Han Ying's received is more of a retrieve. She's just getting it back onto the table because it's been hit at her so quickly. Not able to have the time to impart the spin or the disguise. But it's a key part in any defensive player's weaponry to be able to get balls like that back.
Wonderful. That chop just hung in the air for an eternity. Again, lulling the error from Mima Ito.
That's where she has to be careful, because she's working so hard to win the open rally points, tactically, physically, playing to the middle, then playing for the winner, either wide sides. And that's clever also from Han Ying. She's coming back into it. Defenders sometimes take a little bit of time to get into the zone and feel their attacking player's style, and Han Ying's certainly starting to come into it a little bit more here. But again, Mima Ito will want to remove those errors. If she can remove those errors, her attacking play seems solid enough here today.
Frustrated body gesture there from Han Ying. She won't like that. That'll go down as an unforced error in her book, and as a defensive chopper, that's what her game is all about, minimizing them.
I think that was the right thing for Han Ying to do there, was to throw a little bit of different style in, throw a topspin in, but just not smooth enough in the technique.
And in attacking as well, just trying to back Mima Ito off of the table, try and get her base camp a little further away and become less threatening in doing so.
That's a bad miss. There's no real reason to blow that off the table there. She just could have relaxed a little bit, didn't have to go for a winner. Almost like she's in between minds there.
Interesting how Han Ying as well is trying to just plug towards the right-hand corner of Mima Ito's table and just keep towards the backhand side, because of course she's less threatening that way. That was a wonderful flip kill over the table off the backhand, but generally it's the forehand that's venomous, and Han Ying doesn't want her turning around, unleashing the fury off that forehand. Or does she? You know, that's what you get on occasions.
I still think that was a Mima Ito error rather than a Han Ying .1. But once again, it's very close, game two.
Good little roar there from Han Ying as she gets into the ascendancy by a couple of points here. Just 2 points away from leveling this one. Thunderous from Mima Ito there, taking the ball so early. Insistent on winning the point.
As you say, Paul, right off the bounce, that one. Ferocious.
I got a little lucky there, Han Ying, with the net cord. Spilt to the left. But it's brought up a couple of game point opportunities to tie up this match.
Game 2. Interesting. I think both players making errors rather than winning points outright here in this second game.
Still another game point opportunity for the German. Lady of real experience. Leading the European charge. One of just 2 German players in the women's singles draw. Along with Shauna Jan. Well, it sat up high, it was attackable, but she came through in the end. 11 points to 9. Han Ying does indeed square the match. Don't go anywhere, back after the break. Watching some highlights of game 2, then players making their way back to the table for game 3. Interesting encounter so far, akin to their match last March 2015 in the German Open, where Mima Ito wriggled through 4-3. We've got a very close one developing here, locked in at a game apiece. Start of the 3rd game. It's been a scrappy encounter so far.
Yeah, I think so. Maybe just both players getting a feel for one another again in the last 16 here. I think the player who can reduce the number of errors may well be the one that's victorious. Both of them seem to have clear tactics, but not always seeing it through.
And I love what you're saying. I buy into that entirely. And I think that the errors are coming from Mima Ito because she's having to kind of red line at this, you know, and really force Han Ying to break down. She's playing at a high tempo, but it's dangerous.
There we see it, case in point. Again, great patience from Han Ying. She's just solid there in her positioning. Great position there on the court. And towards the end of the second game, certainly there, she was mixing it up with some top spins as well.
Menacing play from the young lady in black. Just to keep in the ascendancy marginally out here in this nail biter.
Ah, it's great stuff from both players. Again, it's the ball down the middle against Han Ying that gave Mima Ito that winning shot opportunity. There it is. Han Ying not able to impart too much spin. And again, 2 down the middle, giving the opening for the killer smash winner.
Johnny, because she's only slight and diminutive and only 16 and not physically fully mature yet, do you buy into the fact that if Mima Ito were to step away from the table a little bit, that would render her relatively ineffective because she doesn't have as much racket head speed as the bigger, stronger women? Li Xiaozhe comes to mind. And you know, hopefully that evolves as she grows stronger.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, I think the timing of where she hits the ball is fantastic, nice and early. Look how she's hitting the ball in front of her body. That's something for everybody watching maybe around the world and your own practice to think about, is trying to hit the ball in front of your body. Many of us maybe guilty of leaving it come to the side of our body or even further down below, and that's where you start to lose the ability to impart pressure on your opponent. For me, I'm actually been really impressed. I think Mima Ito's really developed some of her strength here. For me, it's just about reducing the number of errors, and maybe that's again down to her age, you know, that maturity to just take her time, maybe take 1 or 2 more balls in a rally just to let it unravel a little bit more.
Fast long serve error there, just little signs of perhaps a little angst in the Japanese player. Haunted maybe by the memories of losing to a couple of choppers recently. You know, the little seeds of doubt in the back of your mind. You know you've got to be aggressive, but she doesn't look exactly totally chilled out there. And Ying doing a great job, just hanging around, about as welcome as a wasp at a barbecue, asking endless questions.
Again, when I was coming up as a teenager, you know, you had to learn your craft playing against the defenders in the leagues, because they were clever, they were guile, they were difficult, they were awkward. And so, you know, obviously Mima Ito is one of the best players in the world, very different situation, but equally you've got to give her time to learn this style of play, very different from how she'd like to play any other ordinary match, fast and furious, close to the table. And for a 16-year-old, you know, this is good, solid.
And I like the way as well that the better aggressors tend to, you know, put in some short blocks and pushes just to draw Han Ying in. She was doing that well from the off, but now she's almost kind of lost touch with that a little and going lights out at many more shots, which makes me think that perhaps she's a little anxious. Deadlock on the scoreboard. Now that, for me, was perfectly blended.
That's the patience and the build-up play, and taking an extra few balls in the rally just to relax and choose the right one. It also goes alongside what you were saying there, Paul. A few short balls, bringing Han Ying in and out. And that's tough work. Look at the expression there from Han Ying. That's tough for the defenders. Very physically demanding style of play. In and out the table, side to side. But excellently well executed there from Mima Ito.
Again, just a perfect point for Japanese fans.
And those 2 points are exactly, I guess, the elements that she should focus on now, as she has the ability. I think her power has really come on. It's just making sure that in her mind and that those elements of doubt that she gets rid of, and is confident that there she can play a few short ones, read the spin, the difference between chop and float, and create the opportunities.
Yeah, I'm with you. And there you go. Now, that's synonymous for me. This is a standout feature. Mima Ito's good. She'll run away for 2 points on a run, but she hasn't really managed a run of 3 very often in this match so far. Tough to do against Han Ying. There's another example. Just, again, pegged back. 2 good points, 2 sloppy points. That's what the defender does.
Han Ying staying in there. Might have lost 2 of those big rallies, but grafting away. Oh, great change, eh?
Great counter-attack. Modern defender, we spoke about their role. Look how quick she was to pounce here. Soft short play just popped up a little too high from the Japanese. Got punished. So it's Han Ying. 1 point in the ascendancy here at 9-8.
Again, bad choice there, I think, from the 16-year-old Japanese player. That could well have been the short, slow, spinny ball cross court rather than going for the flat, fast winner down the line. Difficult with the angles a little bit shorter.
2 game points for the German.
Flat. 8, 10.
Oh, outstanding from both, but it's the European Han Ying who takes the lead here, 11 games to 8. She's 2-1 in the lead.
Takes the third game, Japanese. By 2 games to 1.
Han Ying, the German, with the upper hand here in this round of 16 clash. That body language says it all, tells its own picture. We were just discussing off air, Johnny, weren't we, the fact that Mima Ito, if she can get hold of this defender and break her again, then this kind of win just puts her in a different league, because then she feels comfortable against choppers. At the moment, she's really struggling.
Yeah, I mean, towards the end of that third game, Han Ying was really good. She hung in the middle of the game. It really looked like it was going Mima Ito's way. She seemed really clear and focused on the tactic. Short, long, spin, hit. She had everything going. She started to reduce the errors, but fair play to Han Ying. She held in there, won a couple of scrappy points, and some of the encounter rallies at the end of game 3 were super. And here we see it again. But I have to say, Han Ying now looks really comfortable. Up until the point of the end of the third game, Paul, I thought Mima Ito looked like the one that was imposing her game more than Han Ying. Han Ying looked as if she was just hanging in there. Indeed. I think the table has slightly turned here towards the end of game 3 and now into game 4. But as you say, almost career-defining matches these, you know. Mima Ito definitely has the ability, but of course when you're in your teenage years and you're coming through, and we said earlier, when you're learning your trade, you know, it can be difficult sometimes. So either you do go through to the next level straight away by winning these matches, or you have a tough couple of seasons learning it a little bit, and as long as you've got growth mindset and the ability to learn and develop, you can come through it.
Yeah, I mean, let's face it, you know, reality check, she's still only 16 years old, isn't she, which is really encouraging.
Exactly.
You know, this is a young player. Takes years to learn these lessons against such an experienced European defender in Han Ying. Japan, of course, with such a deep reservoir of talent, a giant pool of players.
And as you sometimes see in these types of matches, when the attacker starts to lose the grip on things, then
slide away quickly, can't it?
Yeah, more errors creep in, and you try to do too much sometimes. Whereas through the early stages of this match, Mima Ito quite relaxed, happy to play longer rallies, mix up the spins and speeds and the positioning. But now we see
A torrent of them.
a little bit loose. This is where sport always demonstrates the physical and, more importantly, sometimes the mental side.
Yeah, she's hemorrhaging errors right now, Mima Ito. And it doesn't make for good viewing for Japanese fans, and it's a shame because she is a player of vast talent, but you just feel that almost her mind is just, there's cobwebs of doubt that just tying her up right now. And she's over-pressing, so easy to do. We've seen it so much against her. Quality defense. Perfect, absolutely perfect, yeah.
But if you look at Han Ying, watch her position now on the court. Good angle we have on the camera with her in the forecourt. Just watch how she's holding her position. She actually has a really cemented approach at the moment. She's staying reasonably mid-distance. She's mixing up the spins fantastically well. Some chop, or, like that one, some float, no spin.
And so looking ahead, you do feel that if Han Ying wins this game convincingly to a solid score, then she's really, really favourite to go through. And Ding Ning lies in wait. And indeed, the German #1 is just 2 points away from a 3-1 lead here in this round of 16 clash. Eight game point opportunities then for Han Ying. Well, it was a terrific change-up on the serve, but to no avail in the end. Han Ying, 11 points to 2. 3-1. German is in control of this run.
Takes the ball game 11-2. She now leads by 3 games to 1.
So the 33-year-old from Germany, born in Liaoning in China, and then moved to Germany for the Bundesliga in 2002. She became a German citizen in 2010. She's in control of this one. Han Ying at the moment serving with a 3-1 advantage. Start of the 5th game here.
First couple of points are crucial here, Paul, particularly for Mima Ito. Excellent. That's back to her best in the first 2.5 games of this match, dominating the table, staying up, focused on the spins, mixing the speed and the spin that she's imparting. Positive, good start, having been well and truly beaten in game 4, 11-2.
We're going to get a look at her mental skills now. As you say, 11-2 is a huge, huge disparity. And it's going to be interesting to see whether Mima Ito can really step up now with her back against the wall.
Oh,
absolutely outstanding.
Excellent retrieving from Han Ying. Incredible feeling in her hands there to pull off those shots on the backhand, but excellent tenacity from the Japanese player. Biffs that one down the middle of the table. Amazing start here. Good to see the youngster coming back, having lost that 4th one quite easily. 4-0 now in game 5.
And on that basis as well, you must pay credit to the Japanese coach who's, you know, got a young player on their hands, and he or she's obviously got into her ear and done a really good job psychologically to keep her calm and instill that belief that she can turn this around.
But Han Ying, again, a bit like at the end of game 4, game 3 actually it was, more so, where she just hung in there, hung in, and pinched a couple of points mid-game to take game 3 11-8.
Oh, she's found the edge there.
Yeah, she's coming back a little bit, 4-0 now to 4-3. And quite rightly, Paul, timeout called by Team Japan.
Yeah, this is a huge game. It's a must-win game for these guys.
So that's a little bit of an ice pack just going around the shoulder, around the arm. Again, playing against defense can be physically demanding. We're talking about the mental side there, but physically, some of the rallies you have to go through to win a point can be huge, and again, can take their toll physically on arms, shoulders,
brains. It's tough mentally, isn't it? More than
absolutely. And so it's good to see how Mima Ito's responded here. Okay, she's lost the last 3 points in a row, hence the need for a timeout, 60 seconds break, just to stop the rot. Coach perhaps saying, listen, think about the first 4 points you played in this game, perfectly well constructed points, great tactics, spin, speed, in the middle, out wide, short, long, keep mixing it up. Try not to make early errors. Han Ying, fantastic the way she battles all the time, has perhaps just kind of survived there in this game to be back at 4-3. Nothing special in those 3 points won, but suddenly she's back in it. And again, in the last couple of games, we've seen some outstanding defender from her.
Showing that extra ball, and frustrations now apparent from Mima Ito.
She's thought it's had lots of spin in that one, but it's been a little bit of a floater. Less spin, she's launched it off the end. Great variation from Han Ying though.
Well, obviously from the body language, gesturing that perhaps that was the wrong choice. Frustration etched all over her there. She knows how key this passage of play is.
Oh, it's a great rally.
We were treated to a 7-game duel in the German Open last year. Are we going to get another? A long way to go. But Mima Ito looking very determined.
Ah, it's aggressive play from Mima Ito. She's having a real go here, I think, Paul. Realises perhaps that maybe not going as well as she would have liked. Grip of the match really being in the hands now of Han Ying, but now she's going for it. She's really going for it, the Japanese player.
Oh, a little extra snap through to add some pace from Mima Ito on the last couple of finishes. Almost a decent turnaround from Han Ying there. Look at that. What do you have to do to beat these choppers?
That's good play. Again, it might just be, as she comes through again, her teenage years. That point there, perfectly mature. Great play. Choosing the right ball to accelerate. Perfect.
The run of points continuing then for the teenage sensation from the land of the rising sun. Here she is with 5 game points to reduce the deficit.
6-10.
Yeah, she's done well to recover there from 4-0 up to 4-3 when we had the timeout for Team Japan. She's done very well, Mima Ito, to keep her momentum from that moment, regain the lead, and now hopefully she's thinking secure game 5.
Well played, 11 points to 6. Mima Ito snatches the 5th game and reduces the deficit. Han Ying in the lead though, 3 games to 2. Back after the break. So back at the start of game 6 then. Still all to play for here. We were just discussing, weren't we, off air, Johnny, all important here that at the start of this pivotal game.
Absolutely, I think the player that gets a start here, I mean, of course they'll be in the driving seat, but psychologically and just the patterns of the games we've seen so far, very, very important. Again, constructed the point well, attacked, then played the block, and that one from Han Ying was fizzing with the backspin, so arguably the wrong one for Mima Ito to try to accelerate on. Might have been better playing the spinny one, hence we saw the frustration in her look. That one just kicked off the end of the table a little bit, surprised Han Ying.
I kind of get the sense that Han Ying is just trying to stay in the point as long as she can, because the longer it goes, more she's favoured. I thought that was a really good build from Mima Ito there with the looped forehand rather than the crushed flat one, just to rebuild, but just sadly spilling over the end of the table, courtesy of a unfortunate net cord.
Great patience from Han Ying as well. Key attribute of any defender, patience, decision making.
When you watch the chopper as well, Johnny, you watch her racket so closely, the racket's sliding all sorts of ways across the ball with varying degrees of different spins. It's all quite subtle, but when you watch her close, it becomes a little bit more evident what she's up to.
Yeah, absolutely. And in the previous point, we saw almost the same action from Han Ying on the backhand, but the ball was played to either side of the table, which is just fantastic. Really difficult for Mima Ito as the attacker to anticipate where Han Ying is going to put the ball. And therefore, the last point, you saw Mima Ito serve and a strong third ball attack, just to mix it up a little bit from her perspective.
Han Ying with her nose in front in this game, teasing out another error, just lulling the youngster, the young buck, to have a crack. And in doing so as well, the German player keeping the ball down really low making it tough to really get onto with authority. Now, if you're a betting person, not that we are, Johnny, we don't endorse that, but at this stage, your money's on the German, right?
Yeah, and I guess it's the nature of the way in which Mima Ito's played the last couple of points. Just gives you a sense that she's losing that little bit of patience, starting to slip away. Han Ying has been incredibly focused on her game. I think it'd be really interesting to get her point of view. I get a feeling that she really did survive at particular moments, key moments in this match, but at the moment, she's been patient, she's built it up, and she's in the driving seat for sure here.
I love her on-court demeanour as well. She's positive, she's roaring. She's going after this, Han Ying. Well, challenge waning from Mima Ito now. And it seems the writing's on the wall for this one. Ding Ning lies in wait. Increasingly, it's looking like the yellow, red and black flag of Germany. It's going to come through. Now, what has this young player got left? Any more in the tank to turn this around? Han Ying almost wincing there, doubling over in metaphorical pain because she knew the significance of that point.
Ah, it's great defending. Did you see where she took that on the backhand? It almost went round the net post. Really great variation. There's the one cross court. Look at that down the line. Tremendous. No spin on it. Mima Ito misread it. So for me, an incredible battling performance from the German Han Ying. I've seen enough from Mima Ito to confirm her pedigree, and it's just a tactical and a mature thing, I think, here in terms of how she plays against defenders. Great variation there. The last little ball here she plays, little drop shot. Again, patience through the rally. That's where we haven't really seen it, where she's been making early errors, Mima Ito.
Still 6 match point opportunities here for the German number 1, leading the European charge. Oh, and still she's denied.
Fantastic stuff. See, it's almost different again. You can see the composure. Mima Ito's maybe relaxed now that she faces match points.
It's wounded bear syndrome, isn't it? You know,
she's not making any mistakes. She's relaxed. She's playing, attacking forehands.
well, we've seen
blocks.
glimmers of brilliance throughout from this young lady, but nothing too sustained. And there we are, Han Ying, a fist pumper for delight. She's through safely to the quarterfinals. An opportunity to hit her skills against the world number 1, Ding Ning. 4-2, German number 1 comes through against Mima Ito of Japan. A wonderful performance that from Han Ying, solid throughout, few undulations in her performance. Less ups and downs. For Mima Ito, she'll go away scratching her head, having lost to another chopper. But a reasonable performance. But what a talent she is. Don't go anywhere. We'll be bringing you our action between another Japanese player, Miu Hirano, and Fung Tianwei of Singapore. Up next, after a short break.